And so now that you finally have finished Virgil's Aeneid, it's now at long last time to get to the midterm exam. So I do want to express my appreciation again for your having taken Classic 396, Myths of Rome. I hope that reading Aeneid by Virgil, even though I know it was a long work, was a pleasant experience. Maybe you've read parts of it before, but never had a chance to read all of it from start to finish, as you now finally have done. So it's really excellent that you've been able to complete that and be able to get through as far as you have with Classic 396. We actually, in a way, have covered more than half of the requirements of the course because we only have 3 more authors that are going to be tested in the second half of the course. So for you to have gotten this far is really excellent. And now we're going to help you out with completing the requirements of the midterm exam properly so that you will be able to get a good grade from it, which is obviously what we want for you here in the course. So first of all, one order of business is the Oath of Academic Honesty. Hopefully you already took care of this, but you should go and check. Go back and look in the forum. This was from the first session of the class. Check in the forum that you did in fact download the document and read it through and sign it and put it back in. If you didn't do that because you joined the course late or for any other reason, for some reason didn't do this, then please pause the video and go back and complete this requirement. Get the Oath of Academic Honesty out of that forum, read it through, sign it, and put it back in. And that will ensure that you will understand the academic standards that are required by University of Rhode Island, and you'll also be fulfilling my standards as well. So before you proceed further with the midterm video, please pause the video and go take care of this if you need to. Okay, so now let's go to the midterm exam itself. The midterm will show up in resources, either a week or a few days, depending on what session you're taking the course in, before the session at which the midterm exam is due. Please check carefully in resources to locate the midterm exam document. Together with the midterm exam itself, you will also find a review sheet as well that you can use before you actually take the midterm exam itself. But the thing is, the midterm exam, because it's due by a specific date, will not be available in resources after that date. It will disappear from resources. So after that, then you may be in difficulties. If you didn't already get it, you'll have to email me and we'll have to work something out and you'll end up with a late deduction. So don't let that happen. So make sure that you get the midterm exam itself out of resources, and it lists just about everything you need right there on the midterm exam itself, except for the passages, which I will have to email you separately. So whatever you need is going to be there. And as long as you have what you need properly, you'll be in good shape. Should any questions come up about the midterm exam, of course, you can always email me or text me or call me, and we'll deal with whatever question you have. But I think that if you follow what we're about to talk about here in the video, you should be okay with the midterm exam, and as I say, get a good grade that we would actually want for you. The midterm exam does count for 40% of the grade, so please do take it seriously. And the closed book part is 40 points. The open book part, 60 points of that 40% of the grade. This is broken down as 28 points and 12 points, so that's the individual division there, but it's 40-60 that you really need to know primarily for this 40% of the grade that will be used to calculate your entire grade at the end of the course. Okay, now, the midterm exam itself has the closed book part and the open book part. Closed book part, as it suggests and as is described in the Oath of Academic Honesty, requires you to have nothing with you while you're taking that part of the exam except for the computer and the head. Okay? So no other aids are permitted for the closed book part. Once you're done with that part of the exam, then you can switch to the open book part and you can open up whatever books and other sources that you would like to use in order to complete your essay. But be sure that you observe both of those in accordance with the Oath of Academic Honesty. When you get finished with your entire exam, please put it together as a single document. It should be a Word document from Microsoft Office if possible, but it also could be a PDF if you want to. And then the entire exam as a single document should be submitted into your Dropbox. Make sure that it does go in the Dropbox, not on the form and not emailed to me. Unless there's a technical problem, in which case then you can email me and we'll work something out if you can't get it to me by the appropriate way. But it is supposed to go in your Dropbox, okay? The other thing I ask with the midterm exam, once you download it off of resources, please complete the entire exam, if possible, in a single sitting. Closed book and open book together, if at all possible. If you simply cannot do that because schedules just don't permit it, life gets in the way or whatever, then there won't be any penalty for that. You may do it at separate times if it's really necessary, but it is in fact supposed to be a real exam completed as a sit-down event. So please observe that if you possibly can, because in order to, again, observe the proper academic standards for exams by University of Rhode Island. Okay, so now let's get into the actual specifics of the midterm exam itself. So when you look at the closed book part, you will find the IDs listed on the midterm exam itself, from which you will select 10. You also have the 4 passages, you will have the 4 questions for the 2 passages that I will email you separately, and then you have the 2 topics, the 1 topic that you're going to be talking about in your essay, which we'll talk about in just a moment. All right, so let's start with the closed book part. The ID section has about 30-40 names or so listed in 1 page. You're going to select any 10 of those that you would like to discuss. You'll find a lot of them are characters that you encountered in the different works you read, the Catullus, Livy, Virgil's Aeneid, and Ovid's Heroides. So that should help you to be able to pick out 10 that way. And after you've picked out the 10 you want to discuss, you're going to describe each of them briefly, but as completely and accurately as you can, finding at least 3 separate things about those particular topics of discussion that you select. Be sure that you do pick 3 different ones. So if you pick Aeneas, for instance, it's not going to do any use for you to say, escaped from Troy, sailed west from Troy. I mean, that doesn't obviously work because those are not different things. You could say, for instance, that he was a refugee from Troy, that he was the son of Venus, that he was the eventual founder of Rome, really the colony where Rome was founded, after he traveled to Italy, and whatever you want to. You can mention Aeneas and Dido and so forth. But you have to be careful to list 3 different things. There should be separate paragraphs for each of the individual IDs, not all clumped in a single paragraph. And I do prefer paragraphs to bullet point because I find that I can read the paragraphs more easily, but bullet point is acceptable as an alternative if that's what you need to do in order to organize your information. So I'll allow bullet point, but I really do prefer paragraphs if possible. Okay, so those are the IDs that you're going to be completing for the closed book part, again with no external aids of any type as you complete those. Okay, now the 2 passages. They will come to you by email in the days leading up before the exam itself is due. And they may be taken from Catullus or Livy or Virgil's Aeneid or anything from Ovid's Heroides. Those are the works that you've read thus far up to the midterm exam. There are 4 questions on the midterm exam itself to answer about those passages once you receive them. The passages, as I say, can be taken from any of those works, and you have to identify the title of the work, the author of the work, so title and author of the work, the plot of the work as a whole, what it's all about, and then the context of the passage within the larger work. So those are 2 separate things, C and D. Be sure to answer both of them separately. Don't lose points by forgetting to do one or the other. Okay, you have to talk about in brief terms, the plot of the whole work, and then the context of the passage within that work. You don't have to be really long-winded with this, but you have to provide enough details so that I know that you did really read the work and know what you're talking about with that. Okay, so that's what that's the ID section, and that's the passage section for the closed book part. And again, remember, no external aids, and it should be completed all together within 1 sitting if you're able to. Okay, and I hope if there are any questions about the closed book part, you can email me about that. All right, now we're going to go to the open book part, the essay, and the essay is specifically about Virgil's Aeneid. When you do Virgil's Aeneid essay, you will be given on it a series of passages that you will have already read in Aeneid itself. The question here is, to what extent is Aeneid an original Roman work, or really a Greek myth that's spun up, redone to look Roman? So essentially, to what extent is it a genuinely original Roman work written by a Roman author for a Roman purpose, or just simply a Greek myth just trussed up to look Roman, but really essentially a Greek story? Okay, just, you could even say stolen from the Greeks if you insist. Okay, I would not agree with it. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Virgil's Aeneid is therefore the specific work that you have to study in close detail in order to write this essay. So since it's fresh in your mind because you've now read the whole work, and hopefully you have done all the assignments and followed all the videos about it, and also got the historical background from the other videos, you should be in good shape for this. And again, you are provided some passages that might be of interest to you. They relate specifically to the issue of Romanitas, the definition of Roman identity, as you see in Aeneid, even within a larger story that on its surface looks Greek in origin. So that's the issue you want to discuss, is did Virgil succeed in making this work separately Roman, distinctly Roman from its Greek source, which even he knows existed? Or did he really just simply grab a Greek work and sort of just redo it in order to kind of look Roman, but didn't really do it that well? So that's what you're looking at. Be specific with citations, and here you have an extra leg up because you have some citations there that you can use. Of course, if you want to impress me with a little bit of extra work, you might also find some other passages in Aeneid that might also help your argument. Either way, though, however you go about doing it, remember that you must cite passages from Aeneid somewhere to be able to support your argument and provide some good analytical discussion of those passages so that I could see how they relate to your argument. So state your argument at the beginning of the essay, whichever way you believe, then just cite your passages in your central paragraphs and provide your discussion of them so that we could see where you're going, and then finally in your concluding paragraph, wrap up your entire argument. Okay, there are some other guidelines also on the midterm exam sheet itself that you can also use in order to frame it, but please remember that the citation of passages is the big thing I'm looking for. I'm looking for your ability to demonstrate to me that you read the work, that you know what it's about, that you can analyze it intelligently, and then you can form an argument with it. So that's the main thing that you need to accomplish. Also, of course, with this essay, I'm going to be picky about grammar, punctuation, spelling. You need to be really, really good with proofreading and editing, especially with the help of a spell check on your word processor. So don't make a lot of mistakes with grammar and punctuation. You be really good about that. Watch out for sentence structure. Don't have a comma in front of however or therefore or other conjunctions, for instance. Make sure you know what conjunctions have what punctuation. It's very specific and it's different for different ones. So make sure that you know that, okay? And keep Aeneid and any other titles you use italicized. Also, remember that you should not say the. Don't say the Aeneid. Don't say the Iliad. Don't say the Odyssey. No the. It's just Virgil's Aeneid, Homer's Iliad, Homer's Odyssey. Italicize and spell correctly, please. Also remember that Aeneas is a tricky name to spell. A-E-N-E-A-S. Spell it correctly. And Aeneid, A-E-N-E-I-D. It's right there in the text. Please make sure that those are done correctly. Any mistakes about those are going to cost you. So do them right and do all the other spelling correct as well. Okay, again, one more thing. The tone of the essay. Make sure that the tone is formal. No contractions. Doesn't, didn't, aren't, none. Isn't, it's, no good. Make sure that you avoid that. Keep the tone professional and formal at all times in this essay. Okay, when you're all finished, as we said, put it together in a single document, Word or PDF, and then submit it in your Dropbox. Do all that correctly, and you'll be in terrific shape. You'll have a really good grade for your exam. All right. I hope that this will be a good experience for you, and you'll do well, and we'll help your grade out. Okay. Once we're finished with that, we're going to be moving to Ovid's Metamorphoses and into those character presentations that you need to do and the point of view on Ovid as well. And we'll talk a lot about satire and novel too as we get into Petronius and Seneca, our other two authors, and then you'll be wrapping up the course with Apuleius's Metamorphoses. Okay, so get the midterm done, and then we'll see you on the other side of the midterm when you're all finished. Good luck with it, and I hope it goes well. We'll see you next video.